Welcome back to R.L. Grider Stadium here on the campus of Bryan Station High School on an absolutely stunningly gorgeous day as we're broadcasting on prepspin.com the semifinals of the middle school championship here in at Bryan Station. I have a special guest today, and I'm going to talk a little bit, first of all, about something I've tried to do for a lot of football games when we broadcast high school games, Jamie. I call it the UFO tribute. And the UFO stands for Unheralded Football Overachiever. And it means we take a person involved in the program here. In this case, it would be you, involved in all the programs here, basically. And we want to get someone who contributes a lot to football at the youth level, at the middle school level, at the high school level, and talk a little bit about that. People, someone who people don't normally hear about, and someone that's important to this wonderful, beautiful game of football that we care so much about. So today we're going to talk with Jamie Howell as a UFO today. You've never been called on a UFO before.
I've been called a lot, but I don't know if I've been called
never
UFO.
Been called UFO. Unheralded Football Overachiever. Jamie is the East-West coordinator of Kentucky Middle School Football Association. He's doing a lot of things today. He's wearing more than one hat. We'll talk about those hats in just a second. First of all, Jamie, what do you think about this facility, this beautiful day
I'll
here?
tell you guys, first of all, we wanted to say we surely appreciate you all being here and broadcasting these games to the folks that can't make it out. I know they really appreciate it. We've got grandpas and grandmas and aunts and uncles that maybe can't be here, so we really, really appreciate you guys. But I don't know. I know I've been to this makes 6 of these for me. And a couple of years when we had it at Lexington Catholic, we were out in the snow one Saturday morning. So this is beautiful, beautiful weather. We couldn't ask for any better weather, and just glad to be here this weekend.
Yeah, maybe a little warm. We're having some players. We're getting some cramps out here, but that's okay too. Jamie, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the hats you wear. Specifically, why are you here today?
Well, several years ago, a group of us got together and decided we wanted to try to help in any way we can at the middle school level to improve the game of football in the state of Kentucky. And we thought we get together could offer some options to kids that they never had in the past. I know back years ago when I played, we didn't have anything that we called a middle school state championships. You played 7, 8 games and you got ready for basketball season. So a lot of these kids, we like to give them the opportunity by having the state championships, a playoff system. And then we also have a Team Kentucky that goes, we try to get some of the best players from the state to middle school level and play teams from other states. And we also have our own East-West, best of the East, best of the West game Thanksgiving weekend at Kentucky State, where we try to pick 50 of the best players from the East and 50 from the West to play each other and come down and just enjoy a weekend on Thanksgiving.
Well, keep that in mind. I want to address that in just a second because I think that's a great idea, and I haven't heard of that before, actually. So we'll address that in just a second. When we're talking about the association, though, that you deal with, how was that formed, and who's on that association?
We have a board that consists of about 7 of us. Greg Mitchell, I think this was his view back several years ago. He is the president of our association. He's an attorney here in Lexington, Frost, Brown, and Todd. I think basically he and a gentleman, J.T. Bass, that was a former member of the board, kind of got together and had the idea to form the association, along with Jeff Mann, who's a former member, and Adam Landman. And then also we have Bronson Gowdy on the staff this year, and also Griffin, we have him on the staff this year, and then myself, and Tommy Tackett.
Well, any of you out here that are watching PrepSpin right now and you would like to tweet a question, William Warfield here can pick up the tweet and we can ask it to Jamie. If you have a question for Jamie about the organization or about what he does or so on, you can tweet us at PrepSpin. That's at PrepSpin. And we can get that transferred over to Jamie. Jamie, now let's talk about that All-Star game that you're talking about. Give me a little bit of background about that and tell me something about it.
That is another event that we try to hold every Thanksgiving. The folks with the in Frankfort have done a great job of embracing us and welcoming us to Kentucky State University each Thanksgiving weekend. Like I said, we have a 7th grade and an 8th grade game. We try to come up with 50 of the best from the East against 50 of the best from the western part of the state. And we let them practice on Friday, practice on Saturday. We have a banquet forum at the Convention Center in Frankfort on Saturday evening, and also a combine on Saturday. So it's a full weekend of football for them. But the main thing, they get to meet a lot of new friends, develop a lot of relationships that they might not, and and guys that can follow all the way through, maybe through high school even.
One of the things that I don't know whether you do this or not, but one of the things I've noticed that I really like is when organizations that are like you that really care about these kids, you do speak to these kids about the right things to do, about academics and so on.
Sure, academics. We had the regional championships last weekend and try to go out at the coin toss, and we're all at a different site and go out and talk to the kids, and that's the main thing I try to stress to them. Congratulate them on making it this far and putting in a lot of hard work in the summer months and fall, but most importantly, to go out and play the game with class and win with class as well as lose with class.
So you're doing some scouting here, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're here watching the teams. We've got a little committee that we have together, watching those teams that are performing out here this weekend. And also, tomorrow we're having a actual tryout. Anyone that's interested in coming for the Kentucky team and the East-West game, they can come down. We have registration here at Bryan Station tomorrow morning beginning at 7 o'clock. It'll run till 8, and then we'll have a tryout for the Team Kentucky and the East-West All-Star game that'll run from 8 to 11.
You going to be over here?
I'll be here probably 6 o'clock again tomorrow morning.
I'll tell you what, it was cold when we first got here, and then it warmed up. William, you got a question here?
Yeah, I got Joe wants to know how can players get on the All-Star team, and then we got another question that came in and wanted to know, is the All-Star team the same team that represents the state of Kentucky going through?
Those are two different teams. That's through FBU, the All-Star team that represents the state of Kentucky. That's Team Kentucky. We'll have a 6th grade, a 7th grade, and an 8th grade team. 3 different teams for that, which will play in different states and continue to progress as far as they can make it to the national championship. And we also have, like I was saying, the East-West All-Star game. It's a separate entity in itself that will take place on Thanksgiving weekend. And if they're interested in coming and trying out for either of those teams, be here ready to register from 7 o'clock in the morning.
7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Be here before the sun rises in central Kentucky to get that done. Jamie, we got about 2 minutes to go here, and we want to do some stats. So first of all, I want to thank you for coming up and talking to us. I think we got a lot of good information. And for me personally, I don't know a lot about this. This is my first time broadcasting this thing, and I didn't find out till last night I was going to do it. I was extremely happy to do it. I'm extremely happy to meet you, and congratulations to your organization and the good work you do for middle school football. Actually, I remember years ago in Fayette County that they decided to soften the rules. They changed the rules of middle school football to make it just wasn't football anymore. And thank goodness some good sense prevailed, and people like you and your organization come in and make this game of football just the way it should be.
Well, we know that Kentucky's always been considered a basketball state, but there's a large group of people that would like it to be football too. So we want these kids to have the same opportunity as any basketball player would, and hope that this helps. And again, we thank you guys and really appreciate you being here and everything you do for us.
Well, thank you again, Jamie Howell, and we will get Darren back on here and stay here and do some stats. Thank you very much, sir. Darren, you want to grab some stats real quick?
Got them right here in front of me. 14-6 is the score. Northern Pulaski, they lead in first downs 8-2.